Hello and welcome to the first of our election 2020 candidate interviews. I'm Rachel Lawson, Drupal Association Community Liaison. And today we are with Mike Herchel. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. It's a good
Good.
day. It's Friday, end of the week. Looking forward to a good weekend.
Yes.
In fact, it's a public holiday here on Monday, so I
It's a
can
public
relax.
holiday. I don't
Yeah.
know if this is good for the thing, but anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to catch up with you because you're
Hmm.
standing in the election
Yes.
and run through a few of the things you've said for our people that will be voting. So I just wanted to really start at the top, really, and ask, why are you here?
Yeah, so I've been a member of the DA since like 2011-ish, and I'm passionate about the Drupal community. I believe that, I'm very passionate about the Drupal Association and its role to take care and steward the community. And I think I can make a difference. I hope I can make a difference and pushing that forward to where closer to where I want it to be.
Ah, that's great. You mentioned community there, and I know
Hmm.
that you've got involved in leadership positions in the community quite a lot recently.
Hmm.
With things like bringing together and working with various other people on the Oliveira theme,
Yep.
which I personally use on my own website.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for
uh,
that.
so I'm really enjoying it, and I'm watching not just the fact that you're creating it, but how you and everyone else is creating that. So, what? Tell me more about building community and what it means to you.
Yeah, so I've been involved with Florida Drupal Camp since 2012, and back when I started using Drupal was probably like 2007, 2008. I didn't even know there was a community, and when I found out there was a community, I went to Florida Drupal Camp 2010, and it just like my mind exploded. It was just amazing, and I was like, this is it. So I went in 2011. I started volunteering in 2012, and I took a leadership position, and I've seen like firsthand about how building that community has like literally helped people and changed their lives, including my life. My life is better because of the community. I would be doing something radically different if that Florida Drupal camp never happened. And I know and like I can think of several people who in this community that have come to Florida Drupal camp, and we have successfully onboarded them, and now they are like such good friends for me, and these people have jobs in the Drupal ecosystem doing web development type stuff, and their lives are better. And these are just the people I know about. Like, I'm a big believer in like, I believe Drupal can be a force for good, and part of that is by spreading the wealth and opportunity around to other people. I don't I don't know if that answered the question good, but yeah.
I think what you're saying is that it's all about people. It's not about building systems as such, but actually working with people and creating
Yeah, and
that.
I mean, community is people. I had a conversation on the web dev subreddit just a couple days ago, and a person had a negative experience with the Drupal community, and I was just like, where did this happen? How did this happen? This kind of makes me angry. And like things like that happen. There are some people in the community that maybe don't think before they say something and things like that. But it always comes down to people in the community, and unfortunately, you can't. It's not like you can police that, but I think friendly people can get out there, and I believed in the power of in-person events, and I'm kind of bummed with this whole pandemic thing.
Yeah, I think that goes for us all. Although it has been interesting because I know that I've been into communities via their
Hmm.
local events virtually that I would never have been able to do otherwise. So
Yeah,
it's difficult in some ways and opportunities in others.
I know.
But you,
I was going to
sorry, go on.
say, like at DrupalCon Global, I started using that networking feature, And so like I talked to a person from like South Africa and then from Rwanda, and then I was like, holy cow, I should like start keeping track. So I kept a tally, and by the end of it I had 22 countries, people from 22 countries that I talked to. And I was like, holy cow, I would have never had that opportunity, you know, if it had been in Minneapolis. And so that was a huge benefit. But that being said, I still miss people. I miss people, like
Yeah.
hugging people, having a beer with people, and just seeing people and the hallways. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's
Hmm.
funny, actually, back there you were talking about people slightly on the edge of the community,
Hmm.
and possibly outside,
Hmm.
and their view of us. And one of the questions we
Yeah.
were asking, and particularly um, something that we expect of our board of directors, is to very much advocate for the project. So what can you tell me about that, and what can you tell me about advocating for Drupal?
Yeah. I don't like if so. A little bit of backstory. Like I run our front end meetup here in where I live in Gainesville, Florida, and so we have a group of, I don't know, about 20 odd people that meet every month. You know, assuming that there's no like pandemic going around, and you just talk with people. And I also participate in like other like non-Drupal conferences, try to speak at those and attend those and just talk. And you know, there's been several times you say, oh, I work with Drupal, and people say, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, well, you know, I really like it. You know, I like the community. I like this and that and the other. And, you know, uh, you know, people tend to have a negative perception of Drupal, and that comes back to, like, I think it's overall learning curve, you know, and there's not enough, you know, guide rails in my opinion in the software itself, although that's kind of outside the scope of what I'm running for. But I believe that the Drupal Association can advocate to the wider web development community to talk about Drupal. One thing that we did at Florida Drupal Camp this past year, and I'm going to give a shout out to Amy June Highline, who is an organizer. She invited a number of people from the local WordPress, what do you call it, camp, the Word Camp,
Yeah.
to attend and speak at Florida Drupal Camp. And it was a great success. Met a wonderful woman, and you know, we did karaoke together, and we just had fun. And at the end of it, you know, I'm talking with her, and she's like, "This was absolutely amazing," you know. And even if she or her friends do not become Drupal people, which is completely fine, you know, they can take our thoughts and our wonderfulness back to their own open source communities. And you know, I'm a
Mm.
big believer of that too. And then I ended up running into her at WordCamp Miami just a couple weeks later, and it was kind of opposite, where I was in a WordCamp and I didn't know anybody except for them, you know. So it was really, really interesting.
Oh,
And
that's really
yeah, so I think we should do more of that. I think the Drupal Association should reach out and give scholarships to people like WordPress developers, you know, WordPress contributors. Hey, come check out Drupal and see what you can learn and take it back to your own community, you know. And I think that we should do that locally. I think camps should do that, and I think that would be big.
Yeah, I think that would be a really amazing thing to see.
Hmm.
And I mean, I know, you know, we've done a lot with scholarships, but actually
Yeah,
targeting people to allow them to see other aspects, the wider world, is always a good idea. I
absolutely.
completely agree. I think it's a good one. Yeah. So all of those things have been really human and in person. Was there a particular favorite moment or?
Yeah, in Drupal in general. So my, like when I first submitted the form, I put down DrupalCon Bogota because I had such a good time down in Colombia. This was like in 2015, and met in a really enthusiastic community down there, which was amazing. But then I was thinking about at DrupalCon Portland, which was a couple years earlier. It was the first time I spoke at a DrupalCon. I had this amazing talk, and well, an awesome talk. It was called "Awesomizing the User's Backend Experience," And it was just like, I remember walking in and it was like filled up. I was like, holy shit, or holy, and it's like, wow. But people ended up enjoying it. And a year later, they were, this random guy came up, was like, Mike, and I'm like, well, hey, I was like, do I know you? And he's like, no, but I remember seeing your presentation and it was amazing. Thank you for that. And I was like, wow, this is so awesome.
That's cool. Yeah.
And that DrupalCon was also special. Prior to the con, I actually organized off of groups.drupal.org like let's go get some cabins in the woods and go hiking trip. And we had 2 cabins filled up with a good amount of people that I didn't know, come over from Europe, and we did a bunch of hiking. My back was kind of thrown out, so I mostly just hung out. But it was that whole system, that whole week was just amazing to me and awesome. So that was it's one of my favorite experiences.
Yeah, that does sound amazing. I think it possibly is one of the most important things about in-person events is that when you're actually not at the event, almost.
Yeah. Yes.
When you get away, you're seeing people in a different context, because what you're doing then is learning about the human. You're learning about how we work together as human beings, and then obviously when it comes to Drupal, benefits from that in the end as well.
Yeah,
and it's also good fun.
Yeah, and fun is important. You need to have fun while you're working, or you're going to get burnt out. And that's something that I don't know what the solution is, but I want to figure out a way to address burnout in the Drupal community. And I think that makes things that involves making things more sustainable. And I know Jacob Rakowitz has blogged about this a whole bunch. I wish he was running. I would totally vote for him. But like I want to make open source contribution in our community sustainable, prevent burnout. And I've been talking with a number of contributors just about how they got burnt out and things like that. And I don't know if I have a solution yet, because it's not an easy problem to solve.
Yeah, I agree. I know what you mean. There's so much there, and yeah, it would be great to have Jacob, but we actually have. I'm really, really happy because we have 10 fantastic candidates.
We do. Several of who I will probably vote for.
And you are able to, because you'll be able to vote. You'll literally be able to say yes or no to each individual, and that will mean that you'll be able to say yes to several, and then we'll see how that works out in the end.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you're over there in Florida, and we've got people from all over. We've got people from Europe, Africa, Asia. It's fantastic. I'm really pleased. So that's really good. Okay. I think I'm going to keep it short.
Okay.
Have you anything specific you would like to add at the end? Any messages to everyone?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in more transparency for the Drupal Association, and I'm gonna work to make that happen. I want to, I believe that money makes everything possible, and so I want to find different ways to fund the DA. And I would love if we could somehow work for increasing and better documentation. I know there's been a lot of work on this, but just so much work. I think that's one of the things that holds Drupal as a platform back.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Mike. I shall let you get back to it for your Friday. And good luck, and we will see what happens very soon.
Yeah, it's exciting. Thank you.